Good morning and welcome to Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation. The weather's okay. It's maybe not the brightest day, but then we're here to alleviate that issue. I'm Alan Worley, President of the Board of Trustees, here with a few announcements and reminders. I would like to remind everyone to fill out and turn in a pledge card. It's very important. We're in the middle of the budget process for next year, and the sooner we know what's coming in, the better we know what we can put out, send out. Reminder or announcement, Adult RE will be here in the building 7 p.m. Wednesday. So it's not a Zoom, not a hybrid, it is in person. So if you can make it, 7 p.m. Good news on the Spirit Level Grant for Technology. We have reached the $10,500 mark. We're only $2,000 away from our maximum goal for this drive. And with that, we will be starting the installation of the projector and remote cameras and screen to move most of this technology up in the air. Yes. So, as we wrap up one Spirit Level grant, we have applied for another one for facilities renovation refresh, because after 2 years of almost no activity, our whole campus needs to lose its COVID weight gain and do some stretching and get its flexibility back. There's also been interest in easy for me to say, interest in restarting the men's group, which was very active here for a while, but unfortunately, most of the participants are no longer with us. But there is interest. The initial thought is a Zoom meeting on Saturday mornings, but this is all open to see. And there's also interest in restarting the Free Thinkers group, which was very, very active in this congregation prior to COVID and everything. So check your announcements coming up on the community connections. And this morning in RE for Children, they'll be studying a Native American giving thanks story as we give thanks as we restart our congregation. Thank you.
That thermometer is good news. Usually when they go up to the top, you're in big trouble, but that's a really good sign. Yeah. One other announcement I'm going to just point out to you that I would love for you to go back into Thursday's email and find the notice that's in there about the possibility of studying in a very small group with Reverend Dr. Thandayaka. She's going to be offering us a private little workshop on her teaching on love beyond belief. And there are less than 10 seats, and a few of them are like, oh, save one for me. So until they, I don't remember who you were, so please get back to me on those. And please, if you're interested in this great opportunity, I advise you to let Brenda know. Brenda's going to be saving the seats for that. It has become our tradition to open our service with the ringing of the bowl. And we sound the bowl 3 times, once for those who came before. The Tongva peoples, who were the original stewards of this land and called it home long ago. We also honor our ancestors and the founding members of this congregation who imagined and planted it nearly 70 years ago. We bring it once for those of us who are here and now, both in the sanctuary, in our Zoom sanctuary, and welcome to everyone there, and also for those who were unable to be with us today, but with us in spirit. Our members, friends, visitors, staff, and our extended UU family, all who hold, care, and grow this beloved community that we know is ours. And once for those who will come. For those who will find belonging here with us and call MVUUC their spiritual home in the days ahead. I invite everyone that's here in the sanctuary to stand as you're comfortable, and let's sing out together in harmony with those on Zoom. We're going to sing Spirit of Life, number 123 in the hymnal. The words will be on the screen. Thank you, Lily. Together in worship is intimately connected with the meaning that we make in our lives. And as a symbol of that connection, we light our chalice with a flame that designates this as sacred space. We honor the spirit of life, connecting us one to another and to the divine. And by this light, we open this gathering into a circle of community, reminded that we are each precious to its forming, and that our best outcome is found in our interactions with each other. We reflect in each other a compassion, a strength, a wisdom, and we are welcomed with wonder and appreciation. Blessed be. As Don Moore comes to light our new chalice, carefully, it's very different with the oil. This is an oil chalice, so I have to be a little respectful of fire in this.
For our children.
And the children, thank you. Beautiful. We hear the words of Joanna Macy. If the world is to be healed through human efforts, I am convinced it will be by ordinary people, people whose love for this life is even greater than their fear. People who can open to the web of life that calls us into being. Blessed be. I invite everyone to stand as we speak our covenant together. We have adapted the words of L. Griswold Adams out of our Singing the Living Tradition, and they are on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve the world in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Before you sit, let's open our hymnals to hymn number 21. The lyrics will also be on the screen, but we're going to sing For the Beauty of the Earth. Please be seated. And I invite our Director of Lifespan Religious Education up to give us our wisdom tale for today, Robert Tidwell.
Good morning, everybody. The story is called To Whom Does the Land Belong? A farmer decided to adventure to a far-off land. Before he left, he found a man who agreed to look after his property while he was away. The caretaker could grow whatever crops he liked on the land and keep whatever profit he made while the farmer was away. 1 year went by, then 2 years disappeared, then 10 years flew past. Finally, 20 years later, the landowner returned. When he arrived home, he could immediately see that the caretaker had done an excellent job. The fields were green and lush, fruit hung heavy on the branches of the trees, and he could hear the bleats and clucks of contented animals in the stable. The farm couldn't have been in better shape. When the caretaker recognized that the visitor was the farmer who'd left so long ago, he invited him in for some tea. The two men exchanged news and gossip, and the farmer thanked the caretaker heartily. As their conversation was drawing to a close, the farmer asked, "Where will you go now?" "Go," said the man. "Where should I go? After all these years of care and labor, surely this land belongs to me." The farmer was perplexed. How could it possibly belong to you? "It's mine, and always has been." The two men argued for a long time. Finally, the only thing they could agree on was to take their dispute to the wise man in the local village. The wise man listened carefully to each of their arguments, and he was puzzled by the case. So who do you guys think owns this land? I want to hear some call somebody out. Neither? After a while, the man said, I say we consult a higher authority. The farmer and caretaker wondered who that might be. Would they need to travel to the city and take their case before the court? The wise man shook his head. He walked back to the farm with the two men. When they arrived, the wise man lay down on the ground and placed his ear next to the earth. The farmer and the caretaker watched. The wise man lay there for a long time. Finally, he stood up, brushed off his robe, and declared, the land belongs to neither of you, as you guessed. Good job. What? Cried the two men together. The land has told me that you both belong to it. The wise man bowed his head in farewell, then turned back home. The two men looked at each other for a long time. Thank you.
So as we prepare to sing out our children, I did see Riley. There she is, Riley. Do you want to come and get the chalice, huh? Please. So I would like to invite Don Moore up now. He has a little message for us, and it's entitled, Why I Pledge.
I was told about this Thursday night, so I'm super duper prepared. But why I pledge is pretty simple. For me, it's because the Bible tells me to. And what the Bible also tells me is when you give, you get back tenfold. I'm happy to tell you that's been my experience in life. You know, when I think about this community, this is a third space for a lot of us, which if you've never heard the term a third space, you have work, home, and your third space. And so this is an extension of your home, and let's be honest, it needs a new roof. If you'll pan up behind me, it needs some ceiling tiles. You know, there are things that need to be done around here, and we all need to dig down deep, but I know that once we get through this, we'll get back tenfold what we put in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Don. There's an offering message among our UUA website resources that was written by Reverend John Saxon, and he titled it, Oil in the Chalice. It caught my eye because our new chalice, that flame is fed by oil now, not a candle. But Reverend Saxon reminds us that the light of our chalice would soon flicker and die without the oil that nourishes its flame. The offerings we bring are the oil that keeps the flame of our faith alive and fuels the shared mission and ministry of our congregation. As we gather our offerings to sustain and strengthen our shared religious community, may we remember that we are now the keepers of its flame that burns for justice, its dream of beloved community, and its vision of a world made whole. I invite you to take this time to make your offerings online. Lily will put that little link in the chat box for those who are in our Zoom sanctuary. There it is. Wow. Thank you, Lily. That's wonderful. I invite you to take this time to make your offering online or to bring forward your gifts for our congregation or any non-perishable donations you might have for the Bader Center at Inland Valley Hope Partners. And it is with generous hearts that our offering will now be gratefully given and received. We are so gifted and fortunate to have you, Lily. Thank you. Amen. Just wanted to point out, too, that because our pledge drive is open and ready for your pledges for the upcoming budget year, that'll start July 1st. And we do have pledge forms on the table in the back that you can fill out and leave. There's a box right outside the administration office that you can drop it into. We also have online pledging that's available. If you go to our website and look under stewardship, you'll find the link to an online pledge card. It works really well. George tried it and he pledged, so. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So part of our life together includes the sharing of the things that break our hearts and the things that we're really happy about. We call this segment Joys and Concerns. I just peeked in the basket in the back. I didn't see any that had been written out, but if there's anyone in the Zoom sanctuary that wanted to put a joy or concern in through the chat box, you're welcome to do that. So I invite you now to do a little exhale and shake, get settled in. We're going to have a little prayer meditation time together. So I invite you to join me in a spirit of time in prayer. We are grateful for this community of love and connection, as these unusual days remind us of how much we mean to one another. Let us spend a moment in prayer together as we join our breath to become aware of love more fully and to see beyond everything that we believe we know toward more awakening, connection, changed minds, and growth. May our love shine forth from this place and from the sanctuary of each of our hearts so that others may know that acceptance, community, and love are the gifts that we bring. And as we struggle to carry the weight of the world in these tender times, we turn to the poets for a bit of relief. So let's enjoy a short video from Wendell Berry. It's called The Peace of Wild Things, as our amen. I invite you to stay seated now as we sing a Indigenous American chant. It's in our teal hymnals, number 1073. I'm not sure, Lily, if Lily will have words for this, but they're very simple and you can sing along. Gene Coates is going to play the drum, and we're just going to sing the 3 lyrics that are in the hymnal. There's other choruses as well, other verses, sorry. And it's just really beautiful. So stay seated and enjoy. Our reading today comes from the words of poet Jamie Sams, who writes, "Earth Mother, teach me of my kin, of hawk and dove and flower, of blinding sunlight, shady knoll, desert winds and morning showers. Teach me every language of the creatures that sing to me, that I may count the cadence of infinite lessons in harmony. Teach me how to honor the sacred spaces of all, gently melding with the whole, answering the whippoorwill's call. Steamy tropics to glacial ice to thundering ocean tides in every grain of desert sands, your beauty forever abides. O Mother of every kingdom, let me claim my family's love, from the whales of the deepest oceans to the winged ones high above. Expand my limited vision until I can truly know the missions of my relations and the blessings they bestow. There's a quote that's often attributed to Chilean poet Pablo Neruda that reminds us, you can cut all the flowers, but you cannot keep spring from coming. Neruda's words bring a bit of calm to our lives that seems stretched by new experience every few days. His words steady our nervous expectations, and they assure our hearts that despite all that we are witnessing, the loads that we are all carrying, and all that is arising for attention in these already very full days, spring is here, and it is overflowing with an abundance of maternal wisdom. And Mother Earth has opened her apron full of blossoms, and she is tending to all of our deepest needs. With her attention to the big picture and her patience evident everywhere, we all do well to witness her care of us as we open up our hearts to a deeper relationship with her, the earth, as our mother. Maybe pull on those apron strings of hers and dedicate some time to connect with nature. When we sense a need for a bit of calm, that the peace of wild things that Wendell Berry spoke of will come. Our journey along this incredible path that we share has been filled with surprise, chaos, and some communal traumas that are accumulating. And they're asking a lot of us during this time of unprecedented change. We could already be sensing that we're overwhelmed and perhaps running out of ideas for relief from the tension of this change. But maybe you too have had moments when you've cried out, I want my mother. But coming together in community to care for one another and to prevent a sense of loneliness from finding its way into us is one of the best ways that you can be taking care of yourself. So 3 cheers for us gathered here together and for all of those that are joining us on Zoom. We have 19 different households connected with us this morning. So what else might we try to remember so we can maneuver the curves that are being thrown our way? Let's look at 3 important things that can help us in times such as these. It's okay to not be okay. And call your mother. Number 2, there's probably a bit more to come. So call your mother. And number 3, we're going to make it together, but call your mother. These 3 short affirmations are the very messages we might hear from our mothers, or we might offer to children from the instinct within each of our maternal centers, especially in tender times. So let's look at number 1. It's okay to not be okay. Nearly every conversation I've had with ministry colleagues and those in the mental health professions have been centered on acknowledgement that the communal crises that we have seen recently have set the stage for many people to have new experiences of acting out in unhealthy behavior and having anxiety manifest in their lives in ways that are certainly understandable, but they're not expected. and they're not what the people consider to be their normal behavior. New sensations of fear and anxiety and depression are causing confusion and a sense of overwhelm that add to the difficulties when we're trying to find our way through. Allowing ourselves times of rest for our nervous systems and relaxing into the knowing that we are okay while we are struggling. It's important to the journey through these difficult days. Spending extra time with nature or increasing your time in the spiritual practice of your choice can help to bring calm and release tension. Hearing and honoring the earth as our mother, our heart hears her words. Listen to the wind and hear her say, "It's okay. These are awfully hard times and a lot of baffling things are happening. It's okay. Let me take away some of the weight that you feel. It's okay. Smell the jasmine and the new citrus blossoms. Feel the breeze, hear those birds, and look at those mountains. Drive to the beach and hear her say, "It's okay. It's okay. Don't feel guilty about doing what's best for you. Sleep in and say no when you can. Ask for your needs to be met. Take a break from social media. Set boundaries that help you to feel strong and safe. It's okay. And it's even okay to not be okay all the time. It's okay." Her second words to us are, "There's probably a bit more to come." In many of my conversations with my therapist, we often marvel at all that has come to life in our world over the last few years, and it just keeps coming. There's probably a bit more to come. I like to say it's since 2016, because one might like to blame Donald Trump. But it's probably more accurate to mark the more recent events that have changed our world so deeply. Maneuvering through grief and trauma in our lives has become more of a challenge when the events that we face personally are also becoming very heavy. I think of Amy and her family now that her mom is struggling with health. The sudden windstorm, not all that long ago, that downed so many trees, was so heartbreaking. And the recent death of our friend, Nancy Rutherford, it weighs on our hearts. Adding our personal losses to the communal traumas can make us all call out to Mother and wonder, when are we going to experience some relief? George and I were excited about taking a few hours to relax and find some relief last Sunday evening. We made a trip to Trader Joe's. We got some truffle mushroom pizza, some mango margaritas, and we settled in and put the weary world aside to watch the Oscars. Oh dear. There is probably not much more to be said about this event, but the important conversations that have happened since Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett, and Will Smith expressed their total disregard for one another are still resonating, and the learning opportunities about ableism, sexism, race, and violence are really important to engage with from a place where our principles ground us. But our big takeaway is to learn from the missteps that we witness, and that there is always more to come. And we can't really say for certain when it will show up on our paths. But as Mother Earth wants us to know in her third message to us, we're going to make it. together. Whether we are struggling through a difficult time or enjoying a little period of calm, but we're afraid to say anything, or we're rewriting bylaws, or completing a spirit level grant, or celebrating an installation and a 70th birthday anniversary / for our congregation. It is the love, the time, and the energy that we invest in the strengthening of this community that will get us through together. Robert Frost's words are often so helpful to frame our way forward. From his poem titled "A Servant of Servants," Frost writes, "Len says one steady pull more ought to do it. He says the best way out is always through. And I agree to that, or insofar as that I can see no way out but through. So through it is, and through we go together, relying on our love for the earth and our knowing of her nature as that of our mother. We encourage one another forward to growth, and we hear the earth call to us as she says, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. And there's probably a bit more to come, but we're going to make it together. Blessed be. And I invite you to stand, and I know that we sang this just 2 weeks ago at the installation, but it's only the 3rd day of Earth Month, so we got to sing it as much as we can. Please stand and we'll sing Blue Boat Home together. Hurts. In the order of service, you'll see for extinguishing the chalice, and Don, if you would please come up and do our snuffing ritual. We'll say these words together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we, until we are together again. May the strength of this community give each of us courage. May the courage of this community feed our passionate hearts, and may the passion of this community make us one to serve the world and turn it toward love. Blessed be.